Hi everyone, Lori Marie here, mixed media artist in Vallejo, California. It's the end of the day and I have had a fantastic day. I have had many hours in my studio playing with the challenge, playing with an altered book idea, playing with mixed media ideas. And I got a nap and 2 walks with the dog. I'm telling you, doesn't get much better than that. So I have started a Facebook page so that you can show off your work that you are experimenting with along with these tutorials and also the 31-day challenge. So we all want to see what you're doing. So it's Lori Marie Jenkins, our YouTube village. All right, so if you go on there and request to be part of the group, I will get on there and make sure that you're in the group and you can post your goodies. Yay, right? Okay, fun project ahead, playing with some old ideas and some new ideas and putting them on a substrate, calling them mixed media. So, see you on the table. Okay, this is the piece that we're going to play with today. It plays with a few of the techniques that we've done in previous videos. The background is a piece of music paper that I ran through my laser printer and put the image of a woman on. We played with beeswax. Now we've just done that with the bottle, and so this was a grander scale than that. And then a transfer. So the layers are the music paper with the image of the woman on it, and beeswax, and the transfer, which I did on my laser printer, and removed all the paper background, and then dipped him in beeswax. And then when it's cool, you just take a soft cloth and you buff him. Pretty darn fun. Okay, for this mixed media project, you are going to need something printed on music paper or an old book page, an image that you can run through your laser printer to get some kind of background noise going on in that. You will need a copy of an image just on printer paper, but also laser print. You will need some kind of a substrate. I'm going to be using a 5x7 wood panel. Thank you, Courtney. Mod Podge brush ruler and some hot beeswax. So what I'm going to do first, since I'm going to make a transfer out of this guy, so that means he gets 3 layers of Mod Podge, drying between each layer. I do have another video on transfers, maybe even 2, I bet even 2. But we'll put a generous amount of Mod Podge on this. This is the first layer, of course. And we'll let that dry. And we will put 2 more layers on him. I will set him aside to dry. Next, we're going to take our cradle, our panel, any substrate, any firm substrate will work. This is just what I happen to have. And she is going to go on this cradle. So I will take my Mod Podge and I will generously put it just on the top of this panel. And I will put this down. As long as that Mod Podge is wet, you can still move it around. And I don't care if it's completely, perfectly centered. That does not matter to me. And I will coat this with Mod Podge. Oh, my hands. They have had a very fun, busy morning. You do not want to use inkjet with this because the inkjet ink will smear and it has a tendency to go green as well, where the laser printer will stay more stable for you. And after we work on it so hard, we don't want to hang it on the wall and have her look like the Wicked Witch when she goes green. All right, I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to set that woman aside and let her dry a bit. And my transfer is almost dry with its first layer of Mod Podge, and I am okay with that. So we're going to put the second layer on. And put him under my desk where the heat vent is and let him dry some more. Encouraging our woman to dry faster. The reason that, let me put this under the desk. The reason we put a sealing of Mod Podge on this before we dip it in the wax is because the wax will penetrate the paper unevenly, which is fine, it still may, but most of it will be sealed with the Mod Podge. It'll give us a little bit more of control what's going to happen with that beeswax. We shall see. Art is unpredictable. All right, the Mod Podge is completely dry on her. When it is dry, it is clear. Here's a damp spot off the substrate, and you can see how that is still white, but the rest is clear. I was just waiting for two little spots right there. And she's warm, so I want to have her cool off a little bit. Then I'm going to flip her over. I don't want to rip her face off. All right, I'm going to flip her over, put my ruler there, and just tear it off close to the edge. All right, so I tore all the edges off with the ruler. I just put the ruler down and tore the edges, kept them kind of straight but yet kind of ragged. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go out to the outside studio where the beeswax is all warmed up nice for us. And I'm going to take this piece like this, and I'm going to dip it down in the beeswax, and then I'm going to lift it up. I'm just going to catch the edge of this paper a little bit further than the paper. Dip it down and pick it up, and I'll bring it back and show you. Okay, some of you might want to stop right there. Isn't that fun? So I did. I just took it. You can see where I dipped it down in the wax. And you can see where the wax kind of crept under this page a little bit, giving it more of a translucent look. Otherwise, it's still warm. Once that cools, I'll take a piece of flannel, soft cloth, and I will buff that. So I'll set that aside while that cools. And I will bring our transfer, put our third layer of Mod Podge on him. And our beeswax should be cool enough to buff now. right, buddy. Your final drawing. Pardon me. All right, buddy, we're going to let you dry for the final time. Let's bring our waxed piece back in. All right, our beeswax piece is nice and cool. Pardon me. We're going to just take that soft cloth and buff her up. And I wish our transfer was ready to put on, but it's not. Just put the third layer on. He is not ready yet. So patience, patience, patience. Something we all have so much of. She's gorgeous. Okay, he is dry enough. There's still a little bit of white Mod Podge, but he is dry enough for this technique. So what we're going to do is put another layer on him and then put him onto our girl, and then really smudgy him down, pushing out all of the air bubbles. We don't want any air bubbles. Well, if we have them, you know, then we do, but if we can avoid it, then that would be good. And I know that I want him off to the side a little bit. So I want his shoulder pretty even with the side. Let's see where his head is. Let's bring him down a little bit. Let's see where you are. I'm going to bring it down a little bit more. So I'm just playing with him, seeing where his face is. I kind of want their faces together. All right, that looks good to me. I'm going to take my squeegee and push out all the air bubbles. You'll be able to see the air bubbles leave the building. Really rub it smooth, rub it smooth. What if he's not on there perfectly? That's okay. It's art. It's playful. Okay, now it's important that this dries completely before I start fiddling with it. Okay, so it's been a couple of hours. This has been drying on here. And now we are just going to get it wet. And you can rub it off, or you can use, I've heard you can use a toothbrush to get the paper off. I don't mind rubbing it off. It takes a little while, but I don't mind. It's therapeutic. It's meditative. All right, it's all wet. And just start circling with your fingers, and you will feel that paper break. And then you just keep doing that until all that paper is off your art piece. I love this. Like I say, some people say that they have taken a toothbrush and used a toothbrush to do this. And I'm doing it the good old-fashioned way of just rubbing it off. All right, I will bring you back when I have taken most of this paper off. It's coming off quite easily. Look at there. It's coming right down. I tell you what, when you start, you can't stop. So I do want you to see what's going on here. So see how the paper has all been removed off this top section. See how nice and clean that is. And this is where there's still paper that remains. And you are just going to want to take it all down to where it is absolutely paper free. So just to keep on rubbing. I think having the hard surface underneath has really been quite helpful to be able to push hard and get all that paper off. I haven't done anything about the paper around the edge yet. I won't do it without you. Okay, he's pretty clean. So there's an air bubble here. Can you see it? Where the image just did not quite go down to the girl. I'm okay with that. That's okay. And air bubble here. And it looks like there's a little bit of paper here that I can still get off, but I wanted to turn it over and just start removing that printer paper from our piece so that we can take the rest of that edge off there. So you're just going to work it around like that. Comes off fairly easily. I have my wax heating back up because I turned it off while I was doing my errands. I'll give him a once over, take care of all of these paper edges here, get those off, and then I am going to return to the beeswax, and I'm going to take him and I'm going to dip him down as far as I can on the wood, because I would like the wood to have the wax on it this time. So I'm just going to play with it, get all the extra paper off the edges and off him, and then I'm going to go dip him, and then you guys get to take a peek at him. Here he is. You can see her image in the background. Very cool. The reason that paper came off so well and the transfer stuck so well is because it was stuck to the wax. I forgot that, because this is the best it's ever turned out for me. It's gorgeous. All right, I'm going to go dip him. Okay, here's our piece that's been dipped in the beeswax. Mine is in an electric frying pan in the outside studio. And so the wax only came up to about right here, halfway. So I dipped it this way, then brought it up and let the wax kind of slide down the piece. You can see where it's a little bit thicker down here. I love that. Yes, I do. And then I took it and I put it in the frying pan this way, and so that the wax came all the way up the side. So this is, see the wax here? Love that. And so I would put D-rings here and some wire, and I would hang that guy up. I'm going to let him cool, and then I'm going to buff him. So I will show him to you in the intro. All right, your turn. Go create, go play, go have fun.